Blog Talk Radio.
Cut us a check.
What we do. Welcome to the war room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26 on the wall in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What? Hey. I got theme music.
Yo! What's good, sports fans? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm Jimmy the Blueprint, and I'm at the round table with the boy B. Austin. We're going Jada and Styles tonight. Tonight, we'll recap week 1 of the NFL season and preview the action of week number 2, including some college football with Fred Purdue. Keep it locked right there, and to get in our live conversation, you can join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room. That's blogtalkradio.com/the War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter, which is at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 40 minutes. We can open up the hotlines, which are the Digital Extreme Technologies hotlines, and that number is 323-410-0012. But before we get everything started, we have to remind you to make the War Room Sports Podcast Network a part of your daily routine. When we're not live on the air, you can visit warroomsports.com and click the WRS Podcast Network tab. Or you can listen right on our mobile app. We have our own mobile app, the War Room Sports mobile app. Or you can go to iTunes. You can find us on SoundCloud. We are all over the internet. And if you do go to iTunes, do me a favor, right? If you go to iTunes, make sure you rate and subscribe right there on iTunes as well. Give us 5 stars. Say all kinds of good things about us because we appreciate it. On our podcast network, you'll find some of the best shows that the web has to offer. That's sports as well as non-sports. You can listen to archive episodes of our show, The War Room. We got the Burr Street Line with Roy and Chris. We got a Tissue and the Tape hip-hop show with Phil and Provide. We got After Further Review with the Mayor, a whole lot more. You can also check the listings at fatsradio.com. That's PHATZ radio.com because we are syndicated over there. We took our networkers over there as well. This is what we do. Make sure you check us out all over the internet. B. Austin, man, we about to Jada and Styles again, man. I got a question for you on that topic, right? We always say Jada and Styles, right? So who are some of the best duos outside of Jada and Styles? I think I know who you're going to say is number 1. But outside of Jada and Styles, what would you say, man?
EPMD, man.
See, I thought you was going to go somewhere else with your number 1, though, man.
Where did you think I was going to go? Bad Me
Ray and Ghost, man.
Ray and Ghost? Yeah, they definitely in my top 5 dead or alive. Shout out to Jada. But EPMD, EPMD, Outkast, shout out to the South, the only real lyrical group. It's like, no, I shouldn't say that.
You got a lot of them. You got Mobb Deep, you got Ray and Ghost, you got AZ9.
Mob, yeah.
But I just knew without question that you would tell me.
I was going to go Ghost and Ray.
I just knew without question.
You didn't think I was going to go Sean Corey Carter and Memphis Bleek?
No. I thought you was going Ray and Ghost, man. Ray and Ghost, man. I definitely thought you was going there, man. What's going on, though, man? Before we get started, man, we have to give a shout-out to our brother. You'll notice it's just us tonight. Our brother Dev. We definitely got to give him a shout-out, man.
General.
Him and his wife just had twins.
And Brandy,
our
producer.
Family,
we got to give a shout-out to Brandy, Devin's lovely wife, who is also our producer.
Yeah, definitely.
They just had twins.
Shout out to the twins, too. Twin girls. Shout out to the twins, man. And shout out to Chase as well. Shout out to the whole family, man. Dev, I know you're going to listen to this tomorrow because we listen to our own ish like we on our own. You know what I mean? So, shout out to the family, man. And God bless you, man. And, it's time to start Operation. Hashtag keep them off the pole starts right away. You dig? But anyway, man, listen, man, let's jump into some sports, man. We definitely got to jump right into these sports. And the first thing that we always do is talk about what happened while you were on the grind, which is brought to you by DirecTV. If you like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website, warroomsports.com, and click on that DirecTV logo. Because, listen, it's football season. It's already started. We're headed into week 2, and you got to have the NFL Sunday ticket. If you want the discounted rate, War Room Sports sign-up rate, you have to go to our website, then click on the DirecTV logo. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have DirecTV. And let's talk about what happened. Everybody was on the grind.
Yes, sir.
Man, first story, man, is a sad story specifically for us who grew up in this region, man. Rest in power to the God. Moses Malone dies at age 60. Man, I have so many things to say about this. I could fill up an entire 2-hour show. Everyone knows that I'm a Lakers fan, but I do love the Sixers as well, the home team. In my opinion, Moses is probably the single most underrated player in the history of the National Basketball Association. You never hear his name mentioned when we talk about the great centers, and his numbers are redonkulous. He's been the MVP of this league. He's the one dude I saw that just gave Kareem the business, and it's like, man, this guy never gets mentioned, and you know, it's sad to say that
he's one of those dudes, man. He's one of those dudes that on any given night could do what he wanted on a basketball court, within reason. I mean, he was a big man, so he wasn't out there, you know, crossing cats up.
No, I get what you're saying, though.
On a block, if he wanted to get 40 and 40 and 40 and maybe another 40, he could do it. 40 points, 40 points, 40 boards, 40 assists, and 40 blocks. Moses Malone could do it. He literally, I'm supposed to get 30, and he's definitely done that. Definitely.
Listen, first of all, he's Charles Barkley's pop. Charles Barkley's dead.
Why did Chuckster say that?
Chuck said, that's my dad, literally. He literally said, that's my dad. But anyway, that's the kind of impact he had. He said Moses Malone taught him how to be a professional. And those don't remember. See, a lot of times these young cats who watch the game, they think basketball started with Michael Jordan, but there was a guy named Julius Erving before Michael Jordan who was that guy in the NBA. And, Doc was very accomplished coming into the NBA. He won MVPs and titles in the ABA. But not until he got the help of one Moses Malone did he, have the ultimate goal in the NBA. So Moses Malone was an integral part of the
who was the best player on that team?
That's interesting because, because I'm a bibliophile and I read all kinds of sports biographies. Like Dr. J actually admitted that year when they won the title, he said Moses came in shape and Moses was determined. He said Moses was by far the best player on that team, and he was okay with that. Doc says this, and he was okay with that. He said because he knew that in order for them to get over the hump, he had to take a step back. And I give Doc praise for that too. See, that's the problem with a lot of guys. B. Austin is there's a lot of alpha. Well, let's not say that because there's not anymore. There used to be a lot of alpha males in the league, but the fact of the matter is, when you wanted to win, sometimes you had to take a step back. Dwayne Wade even did that recently when the Heat won their title. He realized I'm gonna take a step back, even though I'm really the lion in this whole place. But that's what Doc did when Moses, got there and they won a chip because of it. So shout out to Moses, man. Like I said, we can sit here and talk about Moses all show long. We got a lot to talk about, but rest in power to Moses. Definitely a Philadelphia legend, an NBA legend, and one of the greatest basketball players to ever play.
Ever. That has my full support. I couldn't have said it any better. I am biased because I am a Sixers fan, but all bias aside, come on, man. Moses Malone, are you serious? And he definitely does not get his just due. We talk about Bill Russell and we talk about Kareem. We even talk about Shaq. We talk about Patrick Ewing, who should never get mentioned before Moses. We talk about David Robinson. We talk about Hakeem, the spiritual leader, alhamdulillah. We talk about all of these guys, but we don't talk about the great Moses
that's
Malone.
what I said, man. As I opened up, I said, in my personal opinion, he's the most underrated player ever, man. And shout out to Casey Mack.
And according to Chuck Barkley, he's a better dad than Magic. That's another topic.
Magic Johnson of fatherhood, but listen to of bad fatherhood. But shout out to Casey Mack 38 on Twitter, who just simply types fo. You know what I mean? A lot of people know what that is. If you don't, go Google fo. Speaking of NBA legends, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Story released this week. I mean, we pretty much all have, and I shouldn't say should have known this. A lot of us knew this already, but Michael Jordan made more money selling sneakers last year than he made his entire NBA career. Now, we remember that Mike was getting robbed by the Bulls, and he tried to, smack him over the head the last couple of years to try to, overcharge the Bulls for what they did to the Cold Crush.
I don't even think, that wasn't even Mike that did that. Jerry Reinsdorf had a moment of clarity and conscience and was like, we've been getting this dude. There was times when Michael Jordan made six figures.
Yeah, I know. But that also goes to show you that how much money he was making off the court that he didn't even Mike's been kicking up for a long time, so.
Yeah,
but this isn't really like a mind-boggling because Jordan's,
to me,
specifically within the inner city, Jordans are the most popular sneaker there is.
To me, this isn't even really a story about Michael Jordan, the player, or Michael Jordan on the basketball court. This is about brand Jordan and what it means in the apparel and merchandise and sneaker game today. This is just an extension of the brand and what Phil Knight and the creatives over there in the marketing department have done, and the product. Let's be honest. Shout out to the 13 and 14-year-old kids in Asia that smoke cigarettes and make 10 cents a day producing these sneakers because they are very well made. Very well. Oh, what did I say? They're too old. They're 10 years old. 10 years old.
Yeah, no comment.
10 and 11 years old. They make 10 cents a day producing these sneakers for Nike and brand Jordan for the rest of the world to enjoy. They're then shipped here to the U.S. where young disenfranchised African American youth are look at them as a status symbol and will do just about anything to put some J's on their feet. And shout out to the suburban white kids who are sneakerheads and sneaker collectors because they add to the appeal as well. They help line my man Michael Jeffrey Jordan's pockets as well. But that brand has reached iconic status across. It's multicultural because it's not even just a urban thing or a hip hop thing or a black thing.
It's crazy.
It's just a thing, man. It's just a thing.
It's so crazy, right? So here's my question to you. Let's think about this, right? Because and I saw this story, my mind goes somewhere else. It happens often when I read sports stories. I don't think about the normal stuff that people think about. But I'm like, we all know that Mike wasn't paid his just due in the NBA. Like I said earlier, he tried to make up for it at the end. And he's made, become a billionaire essentially because of this brand Jordan, which is probably one of the best branding jobs that we've seen because there's other guys who were just as popular maybe as basketball. I shouldn't say as popular, but who were popular. But no one has taken off the way brand Jordan has. But when you look at the percentage of, say, brand Jordan that he has and even his shares in Nike, do you think that overall, not that he got robbed, but his deal even isn't sufficient and according to what he brings to the table with brand Jordan?
No, it's not because in today's climate, if you took Mike and David Falk and you did that deal today with Jordan and Jordan was the best player in the world today, man, I don't know what they would have asked for and probably received because living in the information age, the average layperson probably isn't more financially savvy than any other time in history. But your celebs, your stars, your athletes, they are hyper conscious of their brand value. And so when you look at the deal, it's funny to say that he's underpaid or that he got stiffed a little bit, but as a percentage of what it's really worth and what he's made, from what I can tell, he got jobbed a little bit, actually. You can say that after a guy that's going to make $1 billion and be a billionaire after that alone.
We sound crazy.
It's funny.
But I like having these conversations
but
with you often.
It's about the percentage. It's like,
those
listen,
who don't know.
If Mike makes $1 billion, right, Jimmy? If Mike makes $1 billion, but Nike made $30 billion because of him, is that fair? Is that a fair?
I understand what you're saying.
That's like 3%. Is he worth only 3%?
Yeah, and for those who don't know, like B. Austin is the educated brother from the bank. My man was a big time banker before WRS.
No, man. I just sweep up around here.
Yeah. He's being humble. I like asking him these questions in terms of evaluation and things of that nature because I find it very interesting. This is one of the parts of sports that I do find interesting. Not that I'm not trying to be chatty patty and talk about somebody else's money word to Dame, but I do find it interesting because of the timing. And then you look at someone, say like a LeBron James, who understands his value. He's had the opportunity to come after, say, a Jordan, after a Bird, after Magic. So people basically laid the groundwork for him to do what he's doing.
I got a question. I got a question for you.
Hold on, Austin. Here's the question there. The question I'm getting to is this. LeBron, as popular as he is nowhere near Mike.
He's about to ask the same question.
Will there ever be anyone who can, have their own brand hit this level again, any athlete, because, it would have to be a basketball player, in my opinion. Football players don't really sell anything. But so would there ever be any other athlete to hit this level?
Yes.
Tiger came close.
And I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to tell you how it would have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a cultural revolution. It has to be more than just sneakers. Mike represented something in terms of value to sports, value to lifestyle, representation of athletics as well as people. Like he was a game changer on so many levels. And I do think that can happen again. I don't know how soon it will be. And I'm going to tell you the sport that I could see it happening in.
Soccer.
It will be football, F-U-T-B-O-L. It will be football. And I know that, Jimmy is staunchly against the sport of soccer. In fact, he doesn't consider it a sport because you don't use your hands.
No, I'm not against it. I'm just not going to. I want to enjoy soccer, but I have to be honest with our listeners. Like, I'm not one of these. Because I know a lot of people in our industry who fake like they like it just because it's the cool thing. So I actually like soccer, but if I'm being honest, it just has. A friend of mine told me, like, if you watch enough, you'll catch the bug. I just haven't caught that bug yet. So
Jim, on the low, Jimmy just took a shot at me. He said people in the industry that fake like they like it, and I was fronting after the World Cup, but now my son plays it and really loves it and adores it. So I've had to learn it and study it. It's an amazing sport. I'm not trying to convince you, brother, but it's an amazing sport.
For soccer to have the allure that it has all across the world, it must be something to it. I just haven't got it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's an amazing
people across
sport.
The world love it. And
love it,
everyone I know, their son plays soccer. I was just chilling with Shatan Iram. He was telling me how his son is on a soccer team and they travel and play. And I'm like, everybody's kid plays soccer. We're gonna set that
one-on-one up. Naran Messier, the French Philadelphian, who's a friend of the show. Your son versus my son, one-on-one.
But here's the thing,
Messi versus Ronaldo. But in that sport, to answer your question, in that sport, I believe so. Because here's the thing, it's a world sport, right? It's a world sport. Does it have another plateau to reach? The plateau is if you can get the 400 million Americans, to buy into it and for it to become popular here where they're spending money and wanting to rock soccer the way it is in other parts of the world where it's huge, but the per capita income isn't the same. The disposable income isn't the same. So I think it'll be in soccer. Another question that I have for you, speaking of LeBron, can LeBron top $1 billion before he retires?
I think it's possible because LeBron is in so many things. Like, I don't read magazines like ESPN or Sports Illustrated when LeBron's on the cover, but when he's on, say, Forbes or Fortune, I read it just to see what he's doing with his brand and how he's his brand extension that he's into. LeBron has investments in so many things, whether it be real estate, whether it be film, whether it be beverages. My man even owns a piece of a chewing gum company or something crazy like that. So I think it's possible. That's a very interesting question because I don't know if he can ever, just on the sneaker level, reached the level that Jordan has reached. But he is doing so many things, and like I said, he's taking advantage of the guys before him, the Kobe's, the Mikes, and seeing the mistakes. Even from a social level, we always talk about some of the things LeBron's doing. So that's interesting. It's possible. In terms of going back to what you said about soccer, I find that interesting because, to be honest with you, people have been saying that soccer is going to take over since I was probably a kid. Like, I remember in the 80s, soccer is the next big thing. It just, for some reason, hasn't taken off in the States.
It couldn't because there was no void. There was no void to fill. There was no real void to fill. So it's competing directly with American pastimes. It used to be baseball, can't compete there. It is football currently, can't compete there. Basketball is a hybrid because it's become the world sport, even though it's an American sport. So it doesn't really compete directly with soccer. But until baseball and football fall off enough for there to be market share, soccer will. It's a long ramp up. I'll say that. It's a long ramp up. The popularity of those two sports has to ebb a little bit further for soccer to come in. And I've been watching the MLS marketing strategy as well as their salaries, and they're trying, because what they're doing is they're bringing over Premier League, high-level European guys that can really ball back in the day, that established a reputation but can't, really get those contracts over there anymore, and they're paying them way too much money to come to the U.S., but that's bringing buzz. So they're building the league that way, and those salaries, man, the average salary in MLS is like $200,000. Man, I remember when MLS got started, and I had a ton of friends that played MLS soccer, and them dudes was asking me for like change to go to McDonald's. They was making like $40,000 a season.
So the thing is, though, when is it going to do that? Like, I mean, I guess if football continues to go the way it's going, with everybody catching bodies and concussions, then eventually. But we'll see. Long term, we'll see. But get back to the original point. Brand Jordan is something unlike anything we've ever seen in that arena. And speaking of that, James Harden signed a $200 million deal with Adidas, and he still got caught wearing J's. That just goes to our previous story to show you the power of them J's in the hood.
Yo, can I say something? And it's not a knock to James Harden, because I like Harden. He's part of the Beard Gang. I'm hard on him. Pause. I hold him accountable for a lot of the dumb ish that he does, but I think it's his generation. But Adidas made a mistake. Adidas made a very, very, very crucial mistake. James Harden, in terms of skill and talent in the basketball world, is a top 5 player. Top 10, definitely top 5, arguably. But it doesn't have the global world appeal that a LeBron and Durant has occupying the top 2 spaces. So now you've paid $200, or Derrick Rose, based on what they projected him. See, he's the replacement for Derrick Rose, because they're going to get a return on their money with Rose because of the injuries, and so much of the prime of his career is lost. So you go out, you get James Harden. Here's the thing. I'm betting dollars to donuts on this. 8 years from now, James Harden won't be able to sell merchandise.
So
8 years from now.
That's interesting. So I understand what you're saying currently.
Yeah.
You don't think
currently cool.
You don't think he has the ability to ever get to that level? Let's just say that his team competes and he gets, starts playing for championships. I mean, you don't think that he has the ability to get to that level?
Nah, I don't see him transcending. Like, I could see him stepping up maybe one more level, but he'll never. To me, he doesn't have icon written on him, and you don't spend $200 million on a 10-year deal unless you have icon written on you.
So
will they get a return?
Where do you have him right now? Where do you have him right now in terms of the best players in the league? Is he top 5?
No.
All right, let me try to get you. I mean, you would have LeBron Durant. It's funny because after that again, Anthony Davis is probably top 5 at this point. My personal opinion, for those listening, that's my personal opinion. LeBron Durant, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and who's the 5th?
by default. That's why I say arguably he's 5, but I don't think that he's 5. I think that there's someone else. That's why it's so murky, because we can't name a top 5 really. Is he top 5? Yeah, he might be that number 5, but it's almost like he's a placeholder. He's a placeholder to me. He's not.
No, I respect that.
Like your man, like Kobe. Kobe's not in the top 5 right now. Kobe might not be in the top 10 really because of his age. But if you chop off the last 2 years, for 16 years, he was top 10. Period. Yeah. Point blank, it was no question. Mike the same. Magic the same. Kareem the same. You know, James Harden doesn't feel to me like that. But more importantly, as it translates to branding and marketability, I don't think James Harden is going to be your salesman unless he does a lot of work on the image and a lot of work on what you see what LeBron is doing. Like it's smart. Whether it's sincere or not, that remains to be seen. But he's becoming a man of the people. You saw it in the Sony commercials, Samsung commercials. You see it in partnering with colleges and universities. Kevin Durant has that, a little bit of that naturally. Like his story, he kind of puts out there for everybody to read into. So it's natural for Kevin Durant. Those are the 2 guys that are way out there. To a lesser degree, Bam Bam out in Clipperland. Blake.
No, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Blake Griffin ain't on that level, but he has the personality and the charisma.
He's a star within, say, the culture of basketball, but he doesn't transcend basketball. Is what you're saying? Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Like, you know, but I think maybe that was the whole point of him with the whole Kardashian thing. Like he's trying to get his brand to that level.
He's trying to get there. That's
but here's my question to you. If you're you know, executive vice president of Adidas and you see this, what do you say when you see this dude still wearing J's, man?
That's the first indication of the huge mistake that we just made. That's the first indication, because if he's not savvy enough to understand what he represents and what he just signed, we got a problem, because you wouldn't find LeBron, Kobe, Durant, and a few others. You wouldn't find those guys making that mistake.
Listen, man, let me tell you something. LeBron is so on top of things. My man, like, will do a commercial for Kia and have Samsung phones, like, in the commercial. Like, when you see his TV show, and everybody using a Samsung phone, like, he's on top of things.
Yo, he's on it, yo. Product placement everywhere. My man is so on it, Jimmy. Like, real talk, I'm not even knocking it. I think it's great, because I would do the same thing. If my man wants something, like, to wear, he'll just have Nike make it. If you've seen his lifestyle collection, like, it's a knockoff, not a knockoff, but it looks like other things. Like, yo, LeBron wanted it. Yo, we made it. And it'll sell because it's LeBron. Like, James Harden, I don't know who his people are or whether he has a staff that's running his company. Like, if you compare, these other guys are companies, and they're aware that they're companies, and they have staffed as companies, as brands. I don't get that from Harden. I don't get that at all.
Yeah.
As you say, he's in the culture. Yeah.
Now, on Twitter, someone says, has Curry passed him up already, or will Curry pass him up?
No, that's a great question. Whoever asked that from Twitter, that's an excellent question. Twitter, Curry is much more marketable than Harden to the segment that the NBA is going after. And you know where I'm going with that, Jimmy, but I'm not going to dive too much deeper. He's more marketable, but bottom line, Curry is a great player that fits on a team. I don't think Curry can carry a team like a James Harden. James Harden is capable of carrying a team.
Gotcha.
He's capable. He's a team carrier. I don't see Curry as a team carrier. I think he will be, if he is not already the number 1 point guard in the world. He is that, but he's not a team carrier. James Harden, I'll give him that much respect. He's a team carrier. So that gives him more marketability.
I got to keep it a bean, though. Someone give me $200 million. Like, I'm wearing L.A. Gears like Karl Malone if they give me $200 million. So for that reason alone, James Harden.
You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself.
Jimmy, if Payless cuts me a 10-year, $10 million, a Magic Johnson first contract deal, I'm wearing Bobos for the rest of my life.
Yo, shout out to Bobos. Speaking of JoJo Awards, Tom Brady, Fred Purdue's quarterback. I've got to say that. Tom
Fred
Brady,
Purdue,
his favorite quarterback, has come out in support of one Donald J.
the
Trump.
Nazis. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
So, like I said, Tom Brady comes out in support of Donald Trump. B. Austin, what are your thoughts on Tom Brady backing Donald Trump?
Not surprised, and that's not really a shot at him necessarily. I've never known Tom Brady's politics, and he, to date, as far as I'm aware, has been pretty safe in his approach to making statements like this. But as we all know, once you get men of a certain age, you hit like 35, the filter gets thinner and thinner and thinner. And, he's headed into his 40s. He's well established in life. He believes what he believes. He is a tall, some would say, model-esque white male who makes a whole lot of money. He can relate to Donald Trump. Why wouldn't he come out in support of Donald Trump? Do I expect him to relate to the average layperson? No, because he doesn't live an average layperson's life. Nor does he reach, he's married a supermodel. He's a guy that, he hangs with Michael Jordan. Even who he hangs with, he's not a man of the people. He is the image of what an all-American super quarterback is supposed to be. And Donald Trump personifies the made it in America story, the wealthy, amoral super businessman. That's a marriage made in heaven. They make sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I'm not knocking them for it.
No, it wasn't a shock to me either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a shock to me. The one thing that is a shock to me, I won't lie, is how Trump is catching on with the masses now. So, the country is dumb. Overall, we're dumb. I don't care who says anything about this, but as a people, we're stupid. But when he first announced he was running, everyone thought, okay, then there's a little surge, and everyone was like, okay, well, it'll finally wear off. And now it's like people are starting to wonder, he really has a shot.
I want to point something out to you of historical significance, and it's somebody that you're famous for bringing up. Do you know Ronald Reagan was an actor?
Oh, absolutely.
He had no real, he wasn't some statesman that understood where politics and civic duty marry up, and he was just he ran. Donald Trump is if Ronald Reagan can be president and Arnold Schwarzenegger can be governor, then it wouldn't surprise me or shock me that Donald Trump could be president. I don't agree with his positions. I don't agree with his platform. Not at all. But from a economic standpoint, if you're looking at the country as a business, his fiscal policies will probably be aggressive and radical and healthy for certain segments of the economy. So I'm not surprised or shocked. Plus, he's a master marketer. Donald Trump, he's a master marketer. He slaps his name on everything and gets everyone else to pay for it.
No, he is. Because if anyone knows the Trump story, about his father, Fred Trump, who actually started the real estate business for the family. But the difference between him and Donald is the marketing ability, because that name signifies, wealth, essentially. Working in the real estate industry.
My man was selling necktie and shirt combos in Burlington. Come on, man.
But within the real estate business, people will pay a premium just for a building with his name on it, even if it doesn't have better amenities. And Ronald Reagan definitely was acting. I know that in the words of the great poet, Michael Killer Mike, we all know that Ronald Reagan was an actor, not at all a factor, just an employee of the country's real masses. Anyway, for those who don't know, look up Killer Mike Reagan song, one of the greatest hip hop songs you'll ever hear. But shout out to Tom Brady.
Run the jewels.
Yeah, definitely run the jewels, man. Shout out to Tom Brady. It's not a surprise. Fred, you will hear about it when you come on in a little bit. You got to know that because that's your quarterback, so we got to slander you about that. But those are the
support of fascism. You're in support of fascism.
Oh yeah. Oh, Fred definitely does. Fred is like a Calvin Cowherd fan, who's also another one of those guys. Like, Fred loves those guys. Fred.
Oh, he's like a Michael Steele. Okay.
Yo, those
all
are
right.
stories that happened while you were on the grind. Be awesome. Definitely got to give some birthday shout outs before we move forward in the show. So tell the people who's having a birthday.
Absolutely. Before I get into the birthdays, do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence, top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options are available. Visit Digital Extreme Technologies, digitalextremetech.com, or dial 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them War Room Sports sent you for the hookup. Holla if you hear me. Now, for our birthdays.
My birthday, yay!
NASCAR's Jimmy Johnson, who will run over you, beat you up, and kill you on the track. Jimmy Johnson turns 40. Wow. We getting old. The great Simon Gratz hero, Rasheed Wallace. Ball don't lie. Both teams played hard, my man. Turns 41. Turns 41. Just think if he'd applied himself in the league, yo. Greatest power forward ever. But
probably Rasheed got quotables, though. He got quotables for days, man.
He got bars. Mark Brunell, the original check down Charlie. See, Jimmy, you didn't even know Mark Brunell was the original check down.
Oh,
Charlie.
Absolutely.
Turns 44. Yo, I saw him pass 25 for 25 for like 70 yards one time.
Shout out to Phil, who caught a lot of those.
Phil Jackson, the great Zen master Phil Jackson, turns 70. And we have a rest in power shout out to George Blanda, who passed away on the 27th in 2010. These are your birthdays. We'd like to give a nice big War Room salute to all of these folks.
And one more birthday I definitely want to bring up. AC Mack sent it to us on Twitter, and it's a good one. Junior Bridgman, for those who don't know, he played in the NBA for the Bucks, Clippers, but he's most known for a guy who left the NBA. He now owns like something crazy, like 175 Wendy's franchises. So he's doing it in a whole other way. And for those who don't know who Junior Bridgman is, you can just Google Junior Bridgman. Definitely a great story. But those are the folks having a birthday, so shout out to all of them.
Yay!
And we're going to give Fred Perdue on the line real quick, but be awesome before we do, to everyone how they can get in touch with us.
Absolutely. Check out our website at warroomsports.com. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report, our company newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about our company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities, or joining the network if you're a podcaster. For general inquiries, email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the Memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the Blog tab to read our latest articles in the All's Fair in Sports and War blog, one of the greatest sports blogs in the world, bar none. Then click on the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter, or to subscribe to our iTunes podcast, and to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV. To listen to the War Room Sports podcast network as well, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app to get everything I just mentioned on the go on your mobile device. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com, The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you can sign in through your Facebook or Twitter account. And while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. To call in and speak with us, dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, Just press 1. It's like raising your hand. One of the teachers will call on you. Yo, what's going on in the chat room? What's up on Facebook? What's up on Twitter?
Yeah, we got
What's
a
up on
lot of
Instagram,
message, man. A lot of stuff.
Periscope.
A lot of Moses Malone shout out. So we want to
No
send
doubt.
another rest in power shout out to him. But
No doubt.
let's just jump right into it because we got college football had a big week last week, and we got Fred Purdue on the line to talk college football. Fred, let's get him on. Hey, Fred,
man.
what's good?
What's going on, fellas, man?
Supporter of fascism in America, Fred Purdue.
There is a clause in my fan contract. I made sure I put that in there. If my said player does something stupid, like, I don't know, support Donald Trump, I'm legally able to break that contract, right? Maybe? Please?
No, man, not the way you ride. Not the way you ride. Not the way you ride for the Patriots. No, that doesn't happen,
Can't
man.
get out. We can't let you off this one. No, sir.
No.
Tom Brady, you let me down so much.
Yeah, that's your guy. But like I was saying, like, Fred, we gotta really check out and see what's going on with you, man, because we know you're like a Colin Cowherd fan too. So I don't know, you like O'Reilly and those guys too. I mean, what's going on? What's up?
No, pause.
Rush Limbaugh?
Pause.
Rush Limbaugh?
No Rush
or
Limbaugh
no?
for you?
Sean Hannity or no?
No, Colin Cowherd.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck? You like Elizabeth. I know you like the yam.
Off of his, as a fan of him, I'm kind of coming off of him as well. His views are a bit out there. Ever since he went on the political thing, and he's just putting out a lot of craziness.
But listen, though, if you listen to him before this, he always is. I used to tell you this before. I used to say, listen, man, I know that's your guy, but your guy got some real opinions that you may not agree with. But anyway, man, we got you on to talk some college football. It was a big week last week, and I got some specific questions that I got for you before we get into your games of the week. And, I want to get your opinion on this because you follow college football like none other, although Tobias will question that. But, we'll get into that later. Laramie Tunsil of Ole Miss, he still can't play due to eligibility issues. What's going on over there, man?
Well, a few weeks ago, actually way back in, late June, early July, his mom and his stepfather got into it, and his stepfather laid hands on his mom. And, anytime you lay hands on moms, it's a problem. And he put hands on that man, and, it was a problem. But in the end, the stepfather decided to say, well, if you want to put hands on me, I'm not going to put hands on you. I'll put hands on you in a different way, and I'll snitch to the NCAA and tell them what all you're doing under the table and in the back rooms. As far as any kind of agents and things you receive, we all know college football players receive things, and they get money and all of this other stuff. But when you expose that and you hurt his eligibility, and he's easily the number one offensive tackle going into, if he decides to come out next year, going into the draft. So if you're hurting his eligibility, he can't put tape out there. That's a big issue. And Ole Miss, they haven't had any problems this year so far. They've dropped 73 and 76 points respectively, and they possibly are the best offense in the SEC. But then again, they're against mediocre competition at best. So we don't know what they really are. But Laramie Tunsil not being there on the offensive line is a big-time problem going forward because they're going to have to play Auburn, Alabama, Mississippi State, LSU, and others. Real competition, not where they have to actually pay people to come play them.
That's crazy. Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. But I know you follow the SEC so closely, so you know the ins and outs of what's going on. One thing that I noticed, I watched a lot of college football this past weekend, as well as the NFL. I even talked to my brothers about this during the game, like, yo, what's going on with all these injuries? Like, people were getting carted off left and right. What's your opinion of this? Is it just me, or is this really an injury-plagued season? Because it's a lot of injuries, college and the pros. Like, I don't know what's going on, getting carted off after every damn play, it seems like.
Definitely. It's been crazy all the way from the high school ranks all the way to the college and the NFL ranks. Notre Dame, their quarterback, Malik Zaire, he's out with a broken ankle. Mike Williams, he had some spinal issues after hitting a goalpost after catching a touchdown for Clemson. He was a really good receiver. Just a lot of injuries, man. It's even at the University of Miami, you have Braxton Berrios going down with some knee injuries. It's just crazy across the league. I mean, you have in the NFL, you have a lot of injuries. You have Pac-Man Jones slamming people's head in the helmets, trying to cause injuries. This year's been, and I think a lot of it, NFL per se, is more so because they've cut down on the actual practice time. You can't hit anybody. You don't get out there and pass. So the first week is like, well, you're really getting back into the swing of things.
But I thought the reason they made those moves was to try to cut back on injuries. So you're saying it's having opposite effect?
I do. I think that has a lot to do with it, as well as with you have 4 preseason games. Yeah, that's supposed to trying to alleviate that issue, but I think it really hurts it. I feel like the old school method, the 2-a-days. I'm not going as far as 3-a-days, but 2-a-days in the hot summer. That's what got you ready. It prepared your body for it. Yes, you may have concussions going forward, but players, at the end of the day, concussions are going to happen. It's the game of football. It's a violent game. Players know what they're getting into before they ever get into it. As far as college is concerned, a lot of these injuries are more freak injuries because they don't have a preseason, but they do have spring games. Granted, the coaches aren't really allowed to really deal with the players. At least the head coach isn't. The players have to put together their own scrimmages and things like that in the summer up until training camp, and they're expected to come in ready to play, which I think is a testament to college saying, we can do this. Why can't you do this, NFL? Can we cut down on these preseason games? Because I know at least we need at least 2 preseason games, maybe none at all, maybe intra-squad scrimmages during practices, which they do anyway. Let that be your preseason. But the injuries across the board at every position has been just outrageous. Even the Eagles with their offensive line issues, they had Jason Peters get injured, and he's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years too. So especially across the offensive line, when you only get 53 men on your roster, that's a big time problem.
Yeah, definitely is, man. And I noticed that across the board. I didn't even realize it was going on in high school too. You brought something new to my attention, but high school's out of control right now, and I don't know whether it's just because we're like in the social media age where everything's being recorded. Because you saw players hitting referees, and I saw a play last night where a guy took someone's helmet off and swung it and hit the other guy in the head. So high school is off the chain right now as well. But
there is something with the players hitting the refs. I do remember seeing where the ref was allegedly saying some things saying some N-words and things like that. So, if that did happen, I mean, if the player accidentally put the ref in harm's way, I mean, I'm sorry, but you might get out of the way, ref. You might just want
So basically you're saying that Tom Brady was the ref of that game, right? Oh, never mind. All right, Fred. Well, listen, I got to get –
Let's not go there, Jim. Don't go there because you do have to see us later in the year. I will give it back to you.
Paul, I do got to get your opinion on some games this week. The first game being the U, Miami versus Nebraska. Who you got and why?
I have the Miami Hurricanes this year. I'm not really particularly fond of this team or the coach, and I've been vocal about that. They've been, as well as the fans. The Miami Hurricane fans are really tired of Al Golden to the point where they've been flying banners over the stadium. Fire Al Golden. We want Butch Davis back. They've even set times. They promoted on Twitter. It's gotten to that point, and they're undefeated right now. Granted, they played Florida Atlantic.
They're undefeated right now. Which week are we in, Fred?
We're only in week 2.
I gotta call you out when you say some crazy stuff, man. Let me ask you a question. Are you picking the U because everyone knows you're a fan of the university? Is that why you're picking them, or you really think they're going to win?
I really think they're going to win because Nebraska.
Why the you?
No,
right, go ahead.
I'm actually taking the U because they really do have the superior team. Brad Kai is a very good quarterback. I think he'll be one of those guys we talk about maybe next year as an NFL prospect if he doesn't stay for his senior year. The defensive line, while not as athletic and fast, they are big. They're averaging about 295 across the board. And there's some big guys down there. Al-Qadim Muhammad is a guy that you might want to watch out for. on that defensive line. But offensively, they have the weapons. It's just, can they stay healthy? Joseph Yerby, the former teammate of Dalvin Cook at Florida State. They were high school teammates. They're both very athletic players. Yerby was the backup to Duke Johnson last year. This is his team now. Mark Walton, the freshman, he also is going to be in the mix. But if they can run the football, they'll be fine. Nebraska, Tommy Armstrong Jr. is a decent quarterback for at least the college level. I know B. Austin, we have to say that for B. Austin because, he has a thing for quarterbacks and he wants to know. So Tommy Armstrong, no, he's your Taylor Martinez type. He's going to run the read option. He's going to throw the ball. He can throw the ball a little, but not at an NFL caliber. But Brad Guy is going to be the guy to be able to bring
so why are we talking about him?
Well, Miami has had...
You not going to be able to light it up or no?
Paul. No, Tommy Armstrong.
Nowhere near Teddy Bridgewater, right?
You know what? I'm going to get you back for this, B. Austin. Stop throwing rocks at the throne, man.
Uh-oh.
I'm not addressing those.
But listen, though, you pick Miami.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my.
Listen, though,
Go ahead.
Fred, you already picked that game. Let's jump to another game. I want to ask you about Auburn. Number 18 ranked team Auburn versus number 13 ranked team LSU. This is a big game this week. Who you got and why?
I have LSU simply because the defense is a Les Miles type defense. They're aggressive on the defensive line. They are very skilled in the secondary. The quarterback play isn't great. Brandon Harris went 9 of 14 last week for 76 yards. Not great at all. But they're going to run the football because they have Leonard Fournette, who was a Heisman candidate. He was a super freshman last year. He's now in his sophomore year. He's gotten bigger, stronger, and faster. Auburn, on the other hand, they were touted as being the potent offense. They had the quarterback in Jeremy Johnson. He gained a lot of hype based off of last year, off of one game when they played, when he stepped in for Nick Marshall. That hasn't really worked out so far. He's had 5 interceptions in the first 2 weeks. That's the most of any quarterback in the SEC since 2009. That is not a good thing. They also can't run the ball, and that's what they've been doing great over the last 4 or 5 years. They've averaged 300 yards last year a game on the ground. This year they're struggling to have 165 yards. Peyton Barber will be the starting running back this week, but the onus is going to be on Jeremy Johnson. He has to get better. He definitely has to get better, especially against a team like LSU, who is a great step up against versus a team like Jacksonville State, who's the top team, one of the top teams in FCS. They have SEC level talent, but they don't have enough SEC level depth. There's a difference. Okay. LSU has that depth, and they can hang around for a long time. Jacksonville State took them to overtime. If that happens against LSU, expect LSU to win this game. And it's in Death Valley, one of the places in college football where they set seismic records, where scientists look at how much noise is made in that stadium, and they compare it to earthquakes. That's a big time deal. That's a big time
All right,
deal.
no doubt. All right, so we got your pick there. Last game before we get you out of here, we got to get your pick on this because we do have Tobias waiting to come on, and this is his team, so we got to ask about it. Number 15, Ole Miss versus number 2, Alabama.
Alabama is right now they're a consistent team. Nick Saban said earlier this week that teams will you will get exposed if you don't come ready to play and you don't show that intensity throughout the game. He thought his team got exposed a bit against Middle Tennessee last week because they didn't come out and really just put their foot on their neck. At the end of the day, their quarterback position hasn't been stirred up. Jacob Coker keeps trying to give this job away when it's really his. He played well against Wisconsin, but he hasn't played well enough to keep that job. Blake Barnett is still in the wings waiting, but that's not the guy you want to watch out for. The two guys you want to watch out for on Alabama, Ashawn Robinson, defensive line, on the defensive side of the ball, and on the offensive side of the ball, Derrick Henry. This is his third year. He's in the Heisman conversation. I keep touting him. He reminds me a lot of Brandon Jacobs, but he can actually read holes, and he's actually faster. But he has the size. He's 6'3", he's 240, he's a bowling ball, and he can actually get away from him. On the other side, you have Ole Miss, Chad Kelly, the nephew of Jim Kelly, the former Miami Hurricane and Buffalo Bills quarterback. He transferred over from Clemson. He sat out a year. This year, he's actually doing very well. On the defensive side of the ball, you have Robert Kondichi. He was the number 1 player out of high school 3 years ago. He drew a lot of comparisons to Jadeveon Clowney. Not really that player. He's a defensive tackle. He's a power rusher. Quite honestly, I like him a lot going forward. He has the NFL type of body. He's about 6'4", 6'5". He's running anywhere between 260, 275. He will put people on, just really run through people. I quite honestly think this is going to be a close game. I think Alabama will find a way to pull one out at the end because they can run the football. I don't trust Ole Miss's defense to win this game for them in the end. And 73 points a game is just too much. Quite honestly, it's going to be that points per game is going to drop significantly. I think it's going to be more like 28-24, Alabama.
Okay. All right. So we'll see if somebody wants to cuss you out about your score. As soon as we get you out of here.
Are you
Fred,
picking Alabama because you're scared of Tobias, man? Is that what this is about?
I mean, they're the number 2 team in the country, so that's not
they're
like
the number 2 team. They are the number 2 team in the country for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And they've
not like
actually,
no upset.
They played
no upset. Okay.
And I've actually enough. I
just want you to know, man, you took all chalk this week, man. I'm just letting you know that. That's all. But
I go against Nick Saban at home. I just can't do it.
Yeah. The odds would not be in your favor. But listen, though, thanks as always for bringing your insight to college football to the table. Tell everybody how they can get in touch with you and where they can follow you during the games to see you talk your trash.
Well, I'm with About.com Sports right now covering the SEC. You can always check my work out there at collegefootball.about.com. All my work is there. On Twitter, scream at me there, F Purdue Sports. The podcast is every Monday at 6:30. We are running EOS podcast, talking a lot of NFL, college football. Baseball is down the road, but we'll talk a little baseball for you, baseball heads. And Wednesdays at 5:30, we'll be giving our college football picks and predictions with Shane P. Hallam from About.com as well. He covers the Big 12. So we got a lot of things going on, man.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And as always, I tell everybody that you are on the War Room Sports Podcast Network, so they can check out your podcast there as well. We appreciate everything you do, and we'll wrap to you tonight on Phil Vision, good brother.
All right, man. Hey, I'm still on my Teddy Bridgewater. I know he played bad. I know it was a bad week.
Listen, we know you riding with Teddy Bridgewater, man. Listen, I hope that he gets it together.
Light it up.
We know that shit. We know that shit guy, man. And we also know that you're a Jay Cutler guy too. So, all right, Fred.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Later.
Fred Purdue, everybody. Let's get right to the homie, Tobias, who's been on hold.
Tobias is in the building.
Let's be out here. We got Tobias on the line. Roll damn tide. What's up, Tobias?
Man. Before I get going, asking Lovie Smith to get fired, when everybody talk about Donald Trump, I'll ask Tom Brady, policy has Donald Trump even said he's going to implement? The guy hasn't even come up with a plan yet, and everybody likes him. That just shows how dumb the average American voter is.
I mean, what you said right there. I mean, my man doesn't even talk policy. When he's asked a policy question, he finds a way out of it. So shout out to him for for the deflection game. But I know that you are a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, and Marcus Mariota saw ass up. What's going on, man?
Yeah. Hey, man. I knocked out half a bottle of Jim Beam last Sunday. Hey, all I got to say is Lovie Smith got to go. This team has been getting their butt whooped. I ain't talking about just losing like 27-17. These teams been getting whooped in record fashion a lot of times in the past 17 games. How in the hell aren't you ready to play the first game of the season? Mm-hmm. And my thing is, I'm not going to put Marcus Mariota in Canton yet, nor will I put Jameis Winston in the Achilles Smith category either.
Yeah.
The one thing I noticed about that game, the thing I noticed about that game was the game plan. They put Marcus Mariota in a position to succeed, win or lose. They put James in a position that, hey, do everything behind one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen. No,
I mean, but see, that's the thing that people don't take into account a lot of times when grading players, specifically when you're talking about football when there's so many moving pieces. A quarterback's entire career can be ruined just based upon, the system that he's put in and the players around him. Because what I noticed about that game, I watched the game. I watched the film, is you guys just weren't physical enough. You need somebody nasty on that team. Like, your team plays like, no shots, but y'all play like punks. Like, there's no physicality with y'all team. Y'all get thrown around. I'm like, you're getting thrown around by the Titans. What happens when you guys play like a team that, is no? What happens when you guys have the Buffalo Bills? Like, I don't know if you play them, but I'm just saying the team that's really physical. A team that's really physical.
You know the problem is?
Really about that.
You know the problem is?
What's
a
that?
team takes on the personality of their coach. Look at how those Rex Ryan teams, even though they sucked in New York.
Oh, you're right.
And we'll see what hey, look how they are.
I
San Francisco or Harbaugh.
You call him Lovie Smith soft, is what you said.
To buy.
Yeah.
I hope that you as a fan, sometimes it's hard to be patient, and I get that. I'm gonna say this: you make an excellent point about the system that Marcus Mariota plays in. They've tailored that to fit him, and it kind of reminds me of what happened in Washington, D.C. Now, of course, I don't think his ego anywhere near as large as that gentleman, so I think it may
not even Kanye as big as RG3.
If he remains healthy, I think this really could work out for Marcus Mariota. Jameis plays a more traditional quarterback role, and though there's going to be growing pains, I want my quarterback in a system where he's distributing the ball, he's making anticipatory throws, and he's playing like an NFL quarterback. Take the lumps this season. He's a rookie. Take the lumps. Look at Peyton Manning's first. So what? Let him take the lumps. Let him play. Let him have his ups and downs. 3 years from now, famous Jameis is going to be famous, and he may have even already laid down with Drea by then.
Yeah, you know what? The problem is also, no one wants to ask this question. What if Tampa did pick Mariota to play for that coach and that system? What would have happened?
He might not be with us no more, considering the way they block for him. He might be his career might be over. So you guys got. No one. You won't find us. Now, I did see it online. I'm not going to lie. I saw it online when people were already writing off Jameis and Mariota and how it was a bad pick. But you won't find any of us. I could even speak for my brothers who aren't here tonight. Like, you won't find any of us, jump the gun that fast because,
I still want Jameis. I want Jameis. I don't care about Mariota.
It's the first game of the season. Like, my thing is, no one knows long term who's going to be better. Mariota could be the better player, but you can't make that decision based upon 4 quarters of football. You just can't.
Both may be good. And you know what? Both may turn out to be pretty damn good quarterbacks. What's wrong with that?
That is well.
And,
the thing about it is I guarantee Jameis would have played better if he was facing his own defense.
Yeah, I know. But you know what, though? I'll say these 2 things also real quick. They got things to do. One, I think I talk about the popularity and LeBron, the shoes and everything. Derrick Rose might have been that guy if he didn't get hurt, especially how popular he was in Chicago, but he got hurt. And but James Harden's an idiot. You cannot put all that money behind a clown. But Steph Curry, the thing with his Under Armour deal, he re-upped it. The numbers ain't come out yet, but he did the smart thing. He got some equity in that company also, not just a check. Michael Jordan was pretty much a paid employee of Nike. And let's be honest, most of those Jordan sales were Air Jordans, not Jumpman. Let's just be honest here. And I'll say this real quick. As an Alabama fan, I know Fred disagreed with me about this. Jacob Coker sucks. I'm tired of these damn game managers. This guy has cannot beat out a running back who got cut by the CFL team, by the way. Didn't know they had a team in Saskatchewan. But anyway, the guy keep giving it. It's like Nick been trying to give this dude the freaking job for 2 years now. He can't take it. It's like, because I don't know if you guys watch UCLA. The true freshman was the best option they had. They went with him. Alabama got a high true freshman, Blake Barnett, as well. You mean to tell me those clowns they got is better than him?
But some coaches don't believe in playing freshmen regardless, and they actually hold players back. I mean, it's like the old saying with Dean Smith in Carolina basketball, like he's the only person to stop Michael Jordan. Like, a lot of times coaches have these things about freshman players and they stick to it. So, but I get your point because times have changed. A lot of the successful coaches, now the newer coaches, they play the best player. They don't care about what class they're in. You know what I mean? So, we'll see what happens long term. But you guys still got a tough squad, man. You guys definitely have a tough squad. Tobias, we definitely got the role. But thanks for your support and your call as always.
Sir.
You dig? So we'll talk to you.
Let's
hey,
be
man, you gotta
honest
take it
here,
easy, man.
my man.
All right, take it easy.
Take it easy, Tobias. Hot topics.
Man.
We got to get to these hot topics before we
definitely do.
Yo, tell them about Audible, man. That's your company.
All right, we definitely do. Hey, Rob, I see you on the line. We're gonna bring you on in a minute, but we gotta open up some more topics before we bring you on. I know it's something that you want to talk about. These hot topics are brought to you by Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. All you have to do is visit Audible and sign up at audibletrial.com/warroomsports. War Room Sports will provide you with a free audiobook. audibletrial.com/War Room Sports. Make sure you go there. They have all kinds of audiobooks, whether you're looking for history, sports, anything you're looking for is at Audible. audibletrial.com/War Room Sports. Now we're going to jump right into these hot topics. First thing.
Jump in. Yo, the stat of the week, man. The stat of the week, for real, should be either James Harden getting $200 million, and I know that didn't happen this week, or the number of hits that Jameis took behind that line.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's crazy. But I know the stat of the week that we have to talk about is definitely Floyd Money May finishing 49-0, tying the record by one Rocky Marciano.
There they go. Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. That's they one.
Yeah, that Rocky Marciano. He says he's retiring. So my question to you, and I know B. Austin, this is difficult for you because you don't like Floyd as a person. Floyd is an interesting character for me because he irritates me. I think he's a terrible person, but I'm not going to lie. I think that he's an amazing pugilist, but also I get a kick out of the way he annoys white folks. I know that sounds real like crazy and racist, but I think it's hilarious to me because they hate him so much, and I get so much pleasure out of seeing how they hate him. But in terms of an all-time great fighter, I probably would say top 10. I wouldn't be the greatest. I understand that people will make the argument for him, and I think it's definitely difficult to say. To be honest with you, I would say, in my opinion, Ali's the greatest. But we had to come up with a definitive greatest. I think it's very difficult to do that because of so many factors. So I'll just say that he gets a seat at that table of the all-time great guys. But I'm not saying that, anyone's the single greatest. But he gets a seat at the table to kind of like have that conversation. B. Austin, what's your opinion?
I can be objective. I separate, my complete disdain for the person and the human being from the athlete. I think, and even the businessman. I think that he's in my top 20. Might not be in my top 10. I put him in my top 20.
20. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's all a matter of opinion. I'm just trying to think if you can name 19 guys.
No. I can't name 19 better. I'm saying he's in my top 20, so he might be number 11. But
I see what you did there.
I definitely can name. I can name 5 guys better. I can name probably 8 or 9 and probably 10. I think that he's in my top 20. If you want me to make it sound better, he's in my top 15. He's definitely in my top 15. He gave an interesting interview, and one of the things that he was saying is that fans, not analysts, not understanding the game, the fight game, but as fans, we want to see 2 human beings stand in the center of the ring and give the best defensive effort possible with their faces. That's what we want to see. We love to see. That's why fighters from below the border, the Latino and Hispanic brethren and the countries they come from, their style of fighting is probably the most entertaining because they're not here to defend themselves. They're here to offend their opponent. and get offensive with the hands. So defense is secondary, tertiary, and maybe not on the priority list at all with them. That is not really the sweet science. That's not pugilism. Yeah. And Floyd is very quick to explain that and articulate that. And I got to respect that because he's saying, listen, I came in this game to hit other people and to win. I didn't come in here to be hit. And that's boxing. That's not fighting. That's boxing. And so as a boxer, his technical ability is probably top 5 ever. His technical ability. Now, when we start to talk about his entire career and add context and look at the circumstances surrounding, did he duck some people? Does he fight, folks as advantageous to himself as possible? Definitely.
Let me try to put what you're saying into its context. You're saying from a technical standpoint, he's top 5, but on your personal list, he falls somewhere in the top 15 based upon, his resume,
production, performance. He doesn't have a litany of Hall of Fame caliber opponents. There are people that are sycophants of his that get caught up in the money team thing, and you have some people who are Richard Rodgers that love to celebrate other people's money more than getting money themselves. So those type of people are going to overrate the level of competition that he faced through his tenure. I can't it's unfair to penalize him for his competition, but you have to. You have to. It just is what it is.
Yeah, timing is a part of everything. I mean, it's the same way I look at Michael Jordan, all the weak 2 guards he faced, so that kind of knocks him down on my list. But you can't knock him down on your list because he was playing a team sport. So he couldn't really duck any work, and they were guarding him with point guards, small forwards. I saw Anthony Mason, the power forward, trying to chase dude around. Man, I just wanted to see you.
Back to Floyd, man. Back to Floyd. Floyd. When you look at the list of his opponents, you see Oscar. Oscar's a Hall of Famer, definitely. When did he fight Oscar? Not when Oscar was in his prime, but if you want to give him, Oscar a Hall of Fame. Diego Corrales, is he a Hall of Famer? On the cusp, I don't really think so, but he was a great fighter.
Sugar Shane, Manny Pacquiao. I get your point. You're saying past. I get your point.
Manny's not a Hall of Famer.
Manny's a Hall of Famer. Cut it out. Manny is definitely a Hall of Famer.
No, Manny's not a Hall of Famer. Sugar Shane shouldn't get into the Hall, but he probably will. But when Floyd chose to fight Shane Mosley, do you think Shane Mosley posed a threat other than that great punch? That great punch, he took it back 10 years to summon punch. But
I understand the argument you're making, but I think you're bugging when you say that Manny isn't a Hall of Famer. Manny is a definite Hall of Famer. I mean, Manny went from fighting cockroach all the way up to welterweight. My man, even though he had some help with some substance, he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Before we get any further in this conversation, let's bring the homie calling in from Cali on. I want to get his opinion. Rob, what's going on? Rob, you there?
Oh, yeah, what's up, man?
I'm about to say, man, I hope you that cricket bill, man. What's good,
no
Rob?
No sticks, no stems, no seeds.
Oh, what's up, man? How you doing, man? What's
Rob,
up,
where's
man?
Floyd rank? Where's Floyd rank all time in terms of great boxers?
Most of what Beyonce's saying is true. I mean, but however, you have to also look at, I was convinced with Floyd when he beat one of my favorites, Miguel Cotto. I thought Cotto was going to knock him out, but Cotto kept headhunting. He wasn't going to the body. You can't. I mean, his arrogance turned me off, dude. I mean, I wouldn't even put him over Felix Trinidad, man.
Yeah.
See, you got to be. This the thing, man. And I feel your pain, and you're taking it personal. And I often take it personal when it comes to dude because I hate him. I hate everything he stands for. But when you look solely at his ability and what he can do in the ring, Felix Trinidad couldn't even spar against dude. Felix Trinidad was a very powerful puncher, but he wasn't a good boxer at all. So it's hard to compare dudes like that, man. It's hard to he's definitely I don't want to rob Floyd of his due and really be hinder my credibility for disliking him. Like he's an all-time great, man. He's definitely an all-time great. He's just not sitting at this table that Jimmy. My table only has 10 people at it, and Floyd got to sit at the kid table. But that sitting at that kid table, even being in that restaurant, is special to me.
I mean, even when we look at that table, I mean, people, because I know when people talk about the great thing about Sugar Ray Robinson and Ali, they forget that Joe Frazier only lost to two people his whole career, which is Ali and Foreman.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's at the table too. Like, he's at the table. But that was my point. My point is there's so many variables that go into naming someone the greatest that I don't think there's any single greatest. I think there are guys who can have a seat at a certain table where other guys can't sit at that table. Like, although I think that Oscar is a Hall of Famer, Manny is a Hall of Famer, they can't sit at the same table as Floyd, Ali, Joe Frazier, even George Foreman himself, and Mike
Jack
Tyson.
Johnson, Joe Louis, Sonny Liston, Sugar Ray Robinson,
I don't know about
Sugar
Sonny
Ray
Liston.
Leonard.
But anyway, but you get the point. Rob, you get the point I'm making, man. You get the point I'm making. Ken Norton's another underrated guy, but you get the point I was making, though. But, salute to Floyd for his career. No one really believes he's going away, so we'll see what happens long term. But, Rob, I know you wanted to call in a statement about your birds, man. So what's up?
Nothing, man. I first of all, I like the way the fan. Well, first of all, I think I like the way the fan base is reacting, but I think they're overreacting a little bit because it's only the first game. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that they're really challenging the coach now. It's the first game, and people are getting their feet wet. I noticed that a couple of the throws that Sam Bradford was making, obviously he wasn't on the same page with the tight ends or the receivers, and you can't really blame on DeMarco Murray because the key to offense. People don't understand the key to offense is the O-line.
Mm-hmm.
And forget that. If the O-line can't do nothing, nobody can do nothing. There's this thing on the internet called the Barry Sanders myth. If you look at Barry Sanders' career, he did have a good above average O-line. He did have like 3 Pro Bowlers. I was talking with Detroit fans. So, if you round about the people who had the most offensive linemen per Pro Bowler, Jim Brown had it. So.
Well, I mean, that's also one of those chicken and egg theories. Like, do these guys get to be all pros because their running backs are that great, so they some of the accolades? You know what I'm saying? Because we know that on paper Barry had some good offensive linemen because they went to Pro Bowl. But were they going to Pro Bowls because Barry was breaking long runs? You know what I mean? So it's hard to use that. But I understand what you're saying. Me and B. Austin have this thing we've been saying on the show for like 3-4 years at this point, that fat boys win football games because the offense and defensive line is where all the games won at. I don't care what system you run. You can run Chip Kelly's system. You can run, whoever system you want to run.
You must have fat people heavily involved.
Exactly. They win the football game, so we get your point, and you're absolutely correct, which is why it was so devastating to see the Eagles get an injury on the offensive line. But, you're right. It's game one. People will overreact because, they are fans, which is short for fanatic. That's what people do. But we got tons more football to come ahead,
Oh yeah. Like I'm still waiting to see, and it's gonna take time. I'm still waiting to see the Chip Kelly offensive mind. It's like with a boxing reference, show me something. You know what I'm saying? Like show me something. And the thing is, he hasn't shown me really anything that just separates him from everybody else. Like I see different coach. It goes without saying.
Well, Rob, here's the thing, right? We all know that you just don't like Chip Kelly. Let's keep it a buck, man. You could try to sugarcoat it and say, no, but we know for a fact you just don't like Chip Kelly. You've been killing Chip Kelly for years on our show. So we know that you definitely don't like him. Because to say that he hasn't shown, when his offense works, it looks amazing. And the problem is when it's not working, it looks terrible. But we know you don't like the guy.
He's the like this season, I just put all my anger aside and want to get everything game by game, analyze what's going on. I do, but I'm not gonna let my bias overshape the results. So it is what it is. It is what it is. He will look like a genius, or he will, like I said, we're gonna be 12-4 or 4-12. He'll look like a genius, or he'll look like an idiot.
All right. Well, here's the thing, though. Just get. All I'm saying is get a man a chance, because at this point, if everything fails on the team, there is no one else to blame but Chip, because they gave him total control, which means that it's all on him at this point. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens, but let things play out, though.
Wait. I do want to say this, Jimmy, because I remember, because you're a Broncos fan, I want to know how did you feel when Josh Daniels was on the team and he took away everybody in 2 years?
I mean, well, here's the thing. I wasn't as upset as some Broncos fans because, for one, anyone can tell you, I've been anti-Jay Cutler since he played in college. I I'm talking about never, ever liked him. And
his hate goes back to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and I enjoy watching him fail. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm a hater when it comes to Jay Cutler. I'm an admitted hater. But the thing is, so I wasn't that upset. My thing is, I was like, look, it's all on you. If it doesn't work, guess what? You got to go, and that's what happened. So my thing is, you have to let, in the words of the great Bill Parcells, you got to let them pick their own groceries. Once you let them pick their own groceries, if it doesn't work, there's nobody to point the finger at that point. So, let things play out is all I'm saying. Don't jump the gun. See what happens, and if it doesn't work, let them have it.
I mean, to be honest, because I'm gonna ask you one more question. To be honest, if Nick Foles or the Dallas Cowboys win a championship, God forbid, I think they should just fire him on the spot. Like,
damn.
You tell me Jerry Jones can work with, basically players ex-cons, you know what I'm saying? And you can't work with your good old boys. You're saying that,
but you
Nick
gotta
Foles.
understand. Here's the thing that you gotta understand, Rob. There's so many things that go into winning a championship. In football, it's the consummate team sport. There's so much that has to happen. So you can't just put it on Nick Foles. If Nick Foles ends up winning the Super Bowl, I guarantee you, like a huge percentage of that will be the defense, which has nothing to do with Nick Foles. The Rams have a defense that's physical and can pretty much match up with anybody. You know what I mean? So you can't just say, well, he won with Nick Foles. So I'm just saying, let things play out, man, but put everything in its proper context when you talk about it. But, Rob, as usual, man, thanks for support. Thanks for the call, man, and hit us back next week, brother.
Hey, what did y'all think about Straight Outta Compton?
About Straight Outta Compton?
Yeah, what did y'all think about the movie?
We had a whole half our show last week was about that, man. I'll send you the link so you can listen to it, because we don't want to get too deep into it now, but I'll send you the link, good brother. All right?
All right, man. Salute.
All right, salute, homie.
Oh, man. We're going to get into the Eagles in a little bit.
We definitely are, man. We definitely are. One more story that I had. Well, it's a couple stories. First thing I just want to say real quick is that the Patriots, the Deflategate employees were reinstated by the NFL. They did that on the low. I thought that was kind of funny. So it was all like much to do about nothing when it comes to Deflategate, other than the NFL and the headlines on the course of the off season. But
brought more attention. Any publicity is good publicity, right?
This is true. B. Austin, here's the story that I gotta get. You are a Howard guy. You a Howard guy.
No.
I'm pro HBCU, right? I'm a Lincoln University guy. You're a Howard guy.
I went to Cheney.
Yo, listen, man.
Actually, I did go to Cheney. I just was in high school.
Yo, no shots at Cheney. I don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? Because we used to go up there and I used to see them young ladies. Never mind. But listen, though, Howard University, your school, as well as the Brother School, as well as Doc Bay School. And PJ even went to Howard for a year as well.
Oh, man.
As a matter of fact, all five, if you look at the 5 War Room generals, I'm the only one that didn't go to Howard. I did get accepted to Howard for that. I got more scholarship money at Lincoln, and I was taking that bread. But anyway, with all that being said, Howard's football team, they got destroyed by Boston College. It was so bad, they decided to play shortened quarters in the second half. I know that you are a proponent of competitive greatness, about fighting no matter how much you're losing, and all the other out-there BS that I could talk about. How did you feel when you see your school get destroyed like this. The Mecca. That's what they call Howard in terms of HBCUs. This is the Mecca of black college. What did you think about Boston College basically, like, taking their manhood?
I have to summon my intelligent, the spook who sat next to the door. I got to summon that within me and just say that, the reason for Howard University's illustrious reputation and greatness is not its athletics, but its academic and social value that has contributed to, American society and black life here in America and the people that it's turned out. So we've got a rich heritage and wonderful legacy. We can hold our heads high. We can be proud of. We can be thankful for. We don't have to allow this one football game or any of the football games or the reputations of our athletic department and programs to shape and mold our opinions of our lovely school. And I don't think the general public should do that either. We're good over here. We're good over here. Now, that being said, having walked on to the Howard University Bison football team in 1998, 1 year after they won the Heritage Bowl, I can recall a time when Howard University had players that were committed to effing you up. And what I mean by that is between the lines, between the whistles, legally within, the rules of the game, they were there as grown men to F you up. Patrick Swigert, the great president, he changed that. He changed that a little bit. His commitment was to the student athlete. He wanted the student athlete in there. And HBCU's already got a hard way to go because all good black kids, all good black athletes are going to go to predominantly white institutions who have millions and millions of money to give to them and to put into their programs, which historically black colleges and universities typically don't. All that being said, Howard should be ashamed of itself. My old head, Gary Flea Harrell, should be ashamed of himself. And so for that, I'm going to let my man KC. Oh, that's so good.
It's definitely so good.
Go ahead and let the listeners understand what the score was, man. Tell them what the score was.
It was like, what was it, 76-0 or something like that? It wasn't the 70s.
Yeah, it was 71. It was 71-0. But 71-0. They had 49 points in the first quarter.
Yo, this is Boston College, by the way. But some schools just aren't.
Yo, they're not even good. They're an Ivy League school, right under Ivy. How do you let the nerds do that to you?
Listen, here's the bottom line, though. I mean, some schools just aren't sports programs. It is what it is, man. Shout out to Howard, man. But we had to bring that up because, like I said, 4 of the 5 generals did go to Howard, so had to bring that up. We got to talk some football, though, man. Before we jump into the football, be awesome. Tell everybody how to get in touch with real fast.
Yo, check out our website at warroomsports.com to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, including the drubbing that my Howard University took. Dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted, and we will get with you from our studios in the lovely Southern California. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you're ready to talk. Gee whiz. 71-0. 49 in the first quarter. I didn't say the first half. I said the first quarter.
Yo, let's talk football, though, good brother.
Yes, let's move on. We got to move on from that.
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway, the football
NFL Rap is brought to you by.
Actually, the NFL Rap is brought to you by Fanatics. For the best of your favorite teams' merchandise and apparel, shop Fanatics. Shopping Fanatics is easy. Go to our website, sports.com. Click on that sponsor tab, and then what you do is you hit the Fanatics logo, everything, NFL, NBA, NHL gear. Guess what? You can even get some Howard University gear right there at Fanatics. WarRoomSports.com, click on the sponsors tab, and then click the Fanatics logo. B. Austin, man. Everyone knows that last week is what some consider the best week of the year in terms of all of sports. Some would argue, but we do know that last week was the first week of the season for football, so we have to talk about it. And hey, for those who don't know, we're very active on social media, so we get questions all the time. And also we come up with stuff all the time just amongst us. But I have a question that we have to put out here. This is a versus. And for those who don't know what versus is, we take anything. I mean, we've compared all kinds of stuff from like pancakes and waffles.
It's actually it's a combination.
Yeah, it's a combo, but I didn't get to that. I didn't get to that part yet. Okay. Is the versus. You can go to Instagram.com/WarRoomSports is where we're located on Instagram. But if you go to Instagram and you look up the hashtag WRS versus, you'll see some of the things that we've compared over the years, and it's all kinds of stuff from wrestlers to movies to different things in pop culture. So, but here's one that I think is interesting, and it's within football, which is why you bring it up in our NFL segment. Clinton Portis and Brian Westbrook. I'm throwing this versus out there to you, B. Austin. Who do you have and why?
This is versus, right? We're not talking FOHOF, right?
No. This is just versus between these two guys.
Give me B. West.
Okay, explain why you taking B. West over Clinton Portis.
Let me qualify this by saying that despite the fact that I think that Clinton Portis lived a lifestyle, an alternative lifestyle that I didn't support, but he's free to do so, and he was a weirdo. As a football player, he is actually underrated. He's underrated. Clinton Portis had a great career. Very, very. In fact, I even say that I think that the return of Joe Gibbs to the Washington professional football team actually was bad for Clinton Portis, because Clinton Portis came into the league as a 5'10", 5'11", 205-pound, 4.3 running dynamo. Like, he was a speed guy with moves, not B. West level moves, but he had moves. He would stick the leg in the dirt and give you a nice cut, 1 cut, 2 cut, and be out. By the time Gibbs left, Clinton Portis was rocking at like close to 230, and he had to gain that weight because Joe Gibbs brought the counter tray. And some of you don't know what a counter tray offense is or running attack is, but they brought the counter tray rushing attack back that Ernest Biner used to run behind. And they needed Clinton Portis to put on like 20 pounds, and it slowed him down. Clinton Portis was also a hell of a blocker in pass protection. Had good hands out of the backfield, really a do-everything guy. At their prime, in their primes, there was 3 seasons in Brian Westbrook's career where there was only one other man walking the face of the earth that was a better running back than him, in my opinion. And that was Marshall Faulk. He and Marshall Faulk did the same thing. They were 1A and 1B. Marshall Faulk was better. Maybe you say LaDainian Tomlinson is number 2 and B. West is 3. But those 3 guys were the best running backs in the league for a good three seasons.
Some would say LT even over Marshall Faulk. I mean, it's debatable.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, it's between those 3. It's between those 3.
That's
but there were 3 years.
I mean, I have to think about that. I never really thought about that. That at that time, B. West was in the top 3.
There was.
I don't know. I have to look at that. Off the top of my head, I can't say otherwise.
You watched enough Eagles football to know and not buy into the hype. During that time, when that other coward was here under center, you know who teams really game plan for.
No, I know. I know what Brian Westbrook was, but to say he was top 3, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I just don't know that off the top of my head.
Listen. The only counter to that is you might say Larry Johnson, Priest Holmes, those guys.
Priest was putting up dumb numbers.
Yo, Priest was putting up stupidity for about 3 seasons, but all-around game, catching out of the backfield, lining up at wide receiver. Brian Westbrook and Marshall Faulk were what Reggie Bush was thought to be. They were. There was a year where Brian Westbrook had almost 90 receptions and still had over 1,000 yards receiving.
And hold on, though, just real quick.
1,000 yards rushing.
At Casey Mack 38, he says that Portis was a product of the Denver system. Terrell Davis and Orlando Gary. I
disagree with that. I disagree.
That's
Casey Mack, you didn't watch him in D.C. though. Casey Mack didn't watch him in D.C.
He was one of the best running backs in the game. Yeah, and that wasn't the Denver system. So, but even beyond that whole thing with the Denver system, anybody can produce. That's a bunch of garbage too that people have just said and people have ran.
I did see Orlando Gary.
Cliche at this because Terrell Davis was special. Like Orlando Gary got 1,000 yards. But 1,000 yards really doesn't mean anything in the NFL. There's a lot of guys that get 1,000 yards. The difference is Terrell Davis was able to produce at a higher level in terms of catching the ball, and damn it, he ran for 2,000 yards. You know what I do? You know what I do, Jimmy? 1,000 yards means something. It's not anywhere near as high a barometer as people try and make it be. What I look at is yards per carry. When you over 4 yards per carry. If you get like 66 yards, don't you get 1,000 yards? Is 1,000 like 66 yards?
It's like 60. It's like 60. You're right. It's like 60. Yeah, it's like 60 yards a game. 65 yards a game.
That's really not that much. So that whole thing, I don't think that he was a product of any system.
That's why I'm saying I look at yards per carry. If you're over 4, you're good. If you're over 4.5 yards per carry, you're special. If you're getting 5 yards a carry, you that bull. You that dude.
I definitely think this is one of the more. Well, you're saying in Denver, but But the thing is, you can't call him a product of the system if he went to another team and did just as well.
He was only in Denver for like 3. He was only in Denver for 2 or 3 seasons, right?
You can't say. I have to look it up. I don't know off my head, but you can't say that he's a product of the system while in Denver. That's who he was playing for. He was running their system. But the fact of the matter is, when you leave Denver, go to a different system, and you're just as productive, you're not a product of the system.
Put up 1,400 yards. He put up 1,400 yards like 2 or 3 times for DC. Like he balled. He's underrated. He's underrated.
This to me is very difficult, and I know this really has nothing to do with the running back position, but I would probably slightly take Brian Westbrook because he's also a great kick returner. He's one of the best kick returners. Guys don't remember that either. Like my man actually, was an all-round football player. He's a better football player. Hear me out now. If I'm taking strictly a running back, I may take Clinton Portis.
I respect that.
But
I respect that.
I think Brian Westbrook is a better football player.
I respect that due to durability, though, Jimmy, because Clinton Portis for a long time didn't get hurt. He showed up and he would give you over 4 yards a carry for a good 8 or 9 seasons. That's the counter argument for Westbrook, because Westbrook as a running back didn't dominate more than maybe 5 seasons. He played 10 years, but as a full-time starting, give him the ball running back, it was only 5. Clinton did that shit for like 9. 9 years.
So that's what I'm saying. So my response to this question would be, I think Clinton Portis is a better running back. I think Brian Westbrook's the better overall football player. But we both picked Westbrook for the sake of argument. So the next question is he a Hall of Famer? HOF or FOH for Brian Westbrook?
Yo, it's one of my favorite Eagles of all time, ever. We go to the same barbershop, yo. It's my man. So it pains me to do this. FOH.
Yeah, same here. Everyone knows my criteria. Everyone knows my criteria for the Hall of Fame. So no, for me it's definitely no.
FOH. Clinton Portis.
Yeah, and also
No. We got to do. Is Clinton Portis a Hall of Famer?
Well, no. We were just going to pick the actual winner and go see if they were.
Oh,
Clinton Portis.
Okay.
Yeah, so we get into that another day. But and to your question, you say Porter's 1,500 in both seasons in Denver. No, I agree that he did have 2 seasons in Denver, and he was over over the yardage, 1,400 yards, whatever in Denver. He was actually 1508 and 1591. But he also had years in DC.
He did that in
15,
DC.
16, 13, 15, 1487. Like I'm just agreeing with you, Casey Mack, when you say product of the system. That's just not true to me. But in terms of Westbrook, going back to that question, is he a Hall of Famer? I definitely have to say no. So that's a big FOH from both of us. He's not getting into the Hall of Fame, the real one or the WRS one. So we're taking Westbrook over Portis, just to recap. But Westbrook is not making it into the Hall of Fame. So we'll actually have to put this back out there on our page, all of our social media, to see what other people say, see what kind of arguments, because we do have some intelligent fans. All of our fans aren't crazy. So I want to see if someone can convince me that either one of these guys are Hall of Famers or that Portis is the better player. With that being said, B. Austin, a lot happened in week 1. Earlier we talked to the brother Tobias, who was a Tampa fan. And we talked about how Mariota just outshined Winston and just put them numbers up. I know you said it didn't change your mind about the future, but were you shocked to see Mariota play the way you did?
Yes, I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised. I did not anticipate him to turn in a day like that. Two things stuck out to me. One, they dumbed the system way down for him, which makes sense and is very smart. Run what he ran in college, give him looks he's familiar with, passing trees and routes that make sense to him, and it worked. It worked brilliantly. Now they got film on him though. So now what you gonna do?
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, only time will tell. We don't like to jump the gun on anything. We like to let things play out and see what happens. Time will tell.
Oh, still, give me Jameis. Give me famous Jameis in the long run. That's my projection. That game hasn't changed anything for me. 4 years from now, as we compare Jameis and Mariota the same way we're comparing Bob Norbit, a.k.a. RG3, to Andrew Luck. I picked Andrew Luck when he was in Stanford and stuck with it. I picked famous Jameis when he was at Florida State, and I'm sticking with that as well.
Understood. Now, let's get to your team. Your Philadelphia Eagles, the revamped Eagles. They took an L to the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football. Let's see if you jumped the gun already. Are the Eagles still contenders? Because I believe you had them going to the NFC Chip game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely, they're still contenders. What I saw was 2 teams that didn't play very well. Very exciting game. But I saw on both sides of the ball great room for improvement. Outside of the Hispanic African Julio Jones, there's really nothing you can do with a black Mexican who's 6'4", 215 pounds, and runs like a 4.2, and he physically you can't cover him. But he alone didn't beat the Eagles. He contributed to it. I think by and large we beat ourselves. The first half there was virtually no production on offense. You're going 3 and out in literally 40 seconds of game clock. You're keeping the defense on the field for just an unfair number of snaps. So a lack of productivity on offense, what often happens is it keeps your defense out on the field too long. And a defense, by virtue of having to react to what an offense is doing, defenses expend more energy than offenses. So your defense is tired. You tune in, you watch the game, you see your defense playing like ish. It's not because they're bad. It's because they're tired, because the offense isn't sustaining any drives and the field position isn't in our favor. So offensively, the futility was kind of frustrating. But then we kind of got it together. As I said, I gave Vic Beasley consideration, the Atlanta Falcons pass rusher. I gave him consideration for Defensive Rookie of the Year. So I expected him to do exactly what he did. I didn't think he was going to make Jason Peters look that bad. but I expected him to rock. And so that's what he did. He put pressure on Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford is the type of quarterback that when you get pressure on him, he makes mistakes. When you leave him standing up clean and give him a clean pocket in 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds, he'll make you pay. And just as we thought, third quarter, he was making him pay. He was carving him up. It looked good. And then Chip Kelly made a coaching mistake, not going for it and trying to kick that field goal. So that cost the game, but we were in a position to win. Here's
what's funny, right? I watch a lot of football coming up. I've seen some of the greatest quarterbacks play during my time, whether it be Marino, whether it be Elway, Jim Kelly. No, not him.
Randall
I'm talking about the elite. Randall, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. Here's what's funny, though. The one way to beat all them dudes is to hit them. You start smacking the quarterback. It don't matter how big you are. Even Joe Montana.
The funny thing is, exactly what you said is correct. And with Sam Bradford and his injury history, you don't even really got to hit him. You just got to make him feel like he's about to get hit. And he gets nervous, man.
Here's my one thing. Nervous. My one takeaway from watching the Eagles game is like I told Rob. It's like when the offense is clicking, it's beautiful. But when it's not working, them 3-and-outs look so ugly. They be like 15 seconds.
More. So isn't it more of the same? It's more of the same from the previous 2 years. That's the same as old.
Now, try to give them the benefit of the doubt. This is new people, so they have to mesh. But we'll see what happens. Casey Mack is actually calling in. I guess he didn't like what we said about his whole Terrell Davis slander. Let's get Casey Mack on the line. Casey, what's going on?
No doubt.
What it do, be Austin and JW.
Hey, listen, man, you ready for my Broncos? You ready for my Broncos to put in work tonight and smack your Chiefs around?
You do realize that you playing Arrowhead Stadium tonight on Thursday night in front of the world? It ain't gonna happen. It's over. We're gonna take over the AFC West this year.
Wow.
I don't know about all that, but hold on, Casey Mack. I'm gonna keep it a beam with you because I'm always objective. I actually picked y'all to win that game. I didn't pick y'all to win the division, but I picked y'all to win that game because we playing on a short week.
Hey, if we were,
our quarterback is 450 years old.
Hey, if we were in Denver, I wouldn't be talking any mess. KC do not win in Denver, but tonight, even though Peyton Manning had her number, he will not have her number tonight.
I respect that.
Justin Houston's gonna put some things on them.
We shall see, man. We shall see. Like, don't get it twisted. I think y'all may win the game, but I'm still going to talk my trash while the game is going on. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Hey, man. Hey, we're going to win with Alex Smith. That's how confident I am tonight. You just watch.
I heard that.
You talked about Terrell Davis and Clinton Portis, the product of the system. Clinton Portis, Mike Anderson, that little dude from OU, Griffin, and Orlando Gary is the reason why Terrell Davis ain't in the Hall of Fame right now, because it was a Mike Shanahan system. They killed it. They killed everybody with that running game back then.
Yeah, but what you got to understand is the system allowed, it gave holes, but there's different levels to that. No one was able to accomplish what Terrell Davis did with that system. Some of those guys got 1,000 yards. Orlando Gary got 1,100 yards. That would have been a bad season for Terrell Davis. So this is what I'm saying. This whole thing of the system, I understand what you're saying, and I understand that people have ran with that for years, but it's BS when you think about it. Some players are just better than others. Orlando Gary ran for 11. If Terrell Davis runs for 1,100 yards, that's a bad season.
And like I said, Mike Anderson ran 1,500 yards in that system. 1,500 yards is hard to do.
Terrell Davis ran for 2,000 yards, though.
I know. And like I said, that's the reason why Terrell Davis ain't in the Hall of Fame. He is
the reason he's not in the Hall of Fame is not because of those guys. People, the knock on Terrell Davis is, it's the length of time that he played.
Not him. He got John Elway his Super Bowl ring.
You're knocking. Are you calling to knock Clinton Portis, because Clinton Portis put up 13-15 in DC, 15-16, 12, 62, 14, 87. I mean, he put up major yardage in 3 different systems in DC.
But see, he didn't have the injury play, and I'm not knocking down Clinton Portis. I'm not. I just like to rant. But bottom line is this: Portis ain't in because he don't have 10,000 yards and he doesn't have a Super Bowl ring.
I can see that. I can see him not, because he didn't break 10,000 yards, but he only played he played 9 seasons, and he's got
but this
just
Terrell
shy
was
of
short
10,000.
like Terrell. Terrell's not in because he
right. His
Terrell
career,
is
short
injury.
Yeah, that's true.
but here, listen to this, Casey Mack. You're saying that Portis is not in because he doesn't have 10,000, but Terrell Davis is not in because of those other guys. But Terrell Davis also 10,000, and Terrell Davis played. Well, he played about 7 years.
That's all I'm saying. Look at it. Everybody that ran the ball under Shanahan system had success. They didn't run.
Not Maurice Clarett.
Well, he didn't make the team. I'm talking about the even boy. What's the boy from OU? Griffin, the little short guy from a little running back from OU.
Yeah, but what you're not listen. What do you call success? You call 1,000 yards success? That's the fallacy. The fallacy there is that everyone has success because everyone didn't have success. Terrell Davis averaged 125 yards a game.
You're right, but guess what? 4 other running backs, Terrell Davis, got 1,000 yards rushing easily.
But 1,000 yards doesn't mean anything.
Okay, but you know what? You talked about what was important, yards per carry. I bet if you look at the stats, each running back had over 4 yards to carry easily. Because Denver, that system was. I sat there and watched them run over the AFC West all year. So 4 yards to carry, that's incredible. I'm telling
what you're saying is you just, if you don't know how many yards per carry, but you're assuming. So don't go off on an assumption and then try to build you're trying to build.
Alandis Gary averaged 4 yards a carry for his career, and
he was probably the worst of the running back.
He averaged 4.2 yards.
4 yards. Mike Anderson come from the doggone military.
Alandis Gary had one season. He ran for 1,159 yards. One season. And he played for Denver multiple seasons after that, and he was a starting running back.
He was a starter for 1 year. Because Mike Anderson came in and did it.
Yeah.
Alandis Gary got hurt.
Yeah, but
Mike Anderson averaged 4.4 yards.
But listen to what I'm saying, though. Listen to what I'm saying. Even that season, which was supposed to be so great, it wasn't a great season. He averaged about 95 yards a game. Terrell Davis averaged 125 yards per game in one season. So you talk about
7 people in the National Football League rush for 2,000 yards. Not everybody goes. I'm saying this.
No,
everybody
I'm taking it. If you take the 2,000 yard season out of it, Terrell Davis ran for 1,700 yards.
Okay. Hey, like this. Clint Portis ran for 1,500 yards. Mike Anderson ran for 1,500 yards under the same system. You don't have running backs rush for 1,500 yards. That's rare in itself.
I said that he ran for 1,700 yards, then 2,000 yards. You comparing these guys with inferior.
And I said he's a Hall of Famer that's getting disrespected. He's the most disrespected football player out there. He ain't no different than Gale Sayers. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame. But the simple fact that the system that Mike Shanahan
and by the way, this is what I mean by this is what I mean by the whole thing of like the assumption, right? Mike Anderson never ran for 1,500 yards.
He didn't run 1,500 yards.
Yeah, 1,400.
Yeah, never ran for 1,500 yards. But this is what I'm saying about this whole fallacy. This fallacy has been going on for years, right? And I usually don't say anything in the system that they do. Everybody succeeds. No, they don't. First of all, 1,100 yards isn't 1,400. It isn't 1,500. It isn't 1,700. It isn't 2,000.
How many carries did he have? For you to get 2 carries, you have to be run the ball. I bet he did not have the same amount of carries Terrell Davis.
KC, we got to get to our games, brother. You and Jimmy can definitely continue this argument.
For you, Sunday, expect the ass whooping up there in Philly.
For me, okay, we'll We'll see. Alex Smith, he scares me. Alex Smith, he definitely not really.
No, Romo's
Not
gonna scare you. Romo's gonna scare you Sunday. Alex Smith's gonna scare.
Oh,
Jimmy
that's right.
tonight.
You got two. You got two
you know
teams.
what? We got to roll Casey,
That's
man.
right.
I forgot you one of them guys.
I don't want to hear.
with
You know, y'all know damn well I got two teams, so you know.
All right,
respect
Casey
it.
Mac. We out of here, man.
Cool the game. Peace.
Easy.
All right, Casey.
Let's get to the homie real quick, John Sanders. We got a little bit of time left. John always calls at the end of the damn show. Hey, John, what's going on, homie?
What's up, man? What's up, everyone?
That's game.
Hey, the Dev. Congrats to Dev and his family too, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother. We
Definitely
appreciate it.
Beautiful.
Uncle.
Beautiful. Let them know. Now, I know you guys said had a good conversation about running backs and Shanahan and all that stuff. One thing I wanted to discuss tonight, and I can't believe this. What the hell was the Giants thinking?
Yo, man. I mean, only thing I can say is,
what were you thinking?
Only thing I can
and
say
then you
is,
run
man,
your teammate makes under the bus? What was
Yeah,
going on there? What are your thoughts?
I
they
really
had to
don't
get out of there
so
quick.
I'm gonna chalk it up to being week one, and that's not really an excuse. It's like Tom Coughlin does this thing right where he makes mistakes and his team stinks and you count them out. And as soon as you start counting them out, that's when Eli like pushes a button and it's like the Giants are a weird team, man. Because even within that game, they had times where they look dominant and then it's like they stink. So the Giants, I don't know what's up with the Giants, man.
Well, we all know the Cowboys got probably one of the best offensive lines in the league. They showed that.
Absolutely.
And it's
Absolutely.
funny. It's funny because they couldn't even get the Romo the whole game. That I can recall. And then they brought JPP back in, and he can't do nothing for them. Or they're afraid to pay him because his hand injury. So I just don't get it. And the other thing I wanted to discuss too with you guys before I get out of here. And no, I'm not gonna talk about my Redskins because they're done. I already told you that at the beginning of the year. They're done. They're done. But Chip Kelly, he hired all these running backs. All these running backs. 3 running backs. I think he spent like tell me if I'm wrong, $51 million in guaranteed contract.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I mean, I forgot the quote that B. Austin said during the game, like, because B. Austin was disrespecting his own team during the game.
Right. But my whole thing is you hired all these running backs, and you came up short. And his offense, to me, wasn't much different from what he did last year.
The power door. Now that I agree with. That I agree with. I didn't see much change.
What were you gaining by letting Sean McCoy go?
Did you see the game? Did you see the game?
I mean,
I saw the game, the whole game from A to Z.
All right. Ryan Matthews didn't look good to you?
He was okay. We don't
even have time to break all that down. But John, all I'm saying is this though. People still question the whole thing with Shady. Shady didn't play well last year, for one. And for two, the Shady thing was a lot more to
Shady
do
had 1,400 yards last year, dog.
He had all. Not compared to the year before. The year before, his numbers were ridiculous.
Yeah, but the year before was an outlier. He had 1,800. He'll never have it again.
Yeah,
1,400 yards is great. We just used that for Clinton Portis.
Yeah, I did, but I don't even know if he had 1,400 last year, but he still had an off season. He didn't score
1397.
He was averaging 4.5, I think.
Yeah, how many touchdowns did he run? He ran like 2 touchdowns like last year. Yeah, something stupid. I mean,
but he kept the defenses off balance.
But here's my point. My point is, people got to let that go. He didn't want him there as a football player on his team. So there's so much more than just production. Like if you're trying to win a championship, you need a certain level of cohesion in your team. So it's not about just what his individual numbers are.
I agree with you.
He didn't want him on the team. So it's time it's over with. Like Shady's still complaining and disrespecting people. Like Shady, let it go. It's over with, man. It's over, B. Anyway, John, we gotta get out of here, man. Thanks for the call.
Right.
Call in earlier next week, man, so we can disrespect your Redskins. Y'all probably losing.
Oh, I was selling cars and I was trying to find my earmuffs.
I got you. All right, homie. Take it easy.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Take it easy. Yo, we got to get these games of the week, man. Broncos, Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, Chargers, Bengals, Cowboys.
People got to check out Phil Vision for that. We don't even have time for that. Thanks for joining us again at Warm Your People. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter, everybody who called in. We definitely appreciate it. Tune in next week, same time, same place, live right here or on demand at the WRS Podcast Network. We'll be back, and of course, as usual, the homie Fred Perdue will be with us and thank him for his time this week as well. Until then, catch us on Facebook, Twitter at War Room Sports. of course, the football season is amongst us, so we'll be talking football every week from here on out, obviously. WarRoomSports.com. You can get our blogs, webcasts, all of our podcasts, everything at WarRoomSports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we shall see you chumps on top.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, .Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, PJ, .Bay, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.